Okay, people, I am back. It was a nice getaway, and a lot has happened in the world of professional wrestling while I've been away. We had a cracker of a show with Double or Nothing. We had a Saturday night main event. We had a North Wrestling show. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, but instead, we're going to talk about WWE on their bullshit again. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about WWE versus AEW, the war that will take place seemingly in July between the two promotions, and why nobody wins in this scenario, and why I think that this is a pretty stupid predicament for WWE to put the wrestling world in on that weekend in July. But before we dive into that, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below, and I'll try and reply to every single one of them as we dive into this. Starting with the fact that, yes, it appears that more counter-programming shenanigans have been going on. We have got All In coming up in July, and WWE are counter-programming them on July 12th, airing the Great American Bash at the exact same time that All In will be broadcasting. Now, this is not good for a number of reasons. Like, I think it's evident that WWE is clearly counter-programming AEW, particularly on this weekend. You have got a Saturday night's main event, you've got NXT Great American Bash, and you've also got Evolution on the exact same weekend as AEW's biggest show of the year. That, to me, is not a coincidence. There is no way they have just booked these dates out of thin air thinking, oh, this would be good for our plans. No, absolutely no chance, because we've just seen that they can change dates in the blink of an eye as they have changed WrestleMania. So it's clearly to counter-program AEW. The reason that this is not good for anyone, the fans, the companies, no one, is because you're not gaining a new audience by doing this. You're not bringing in more viewers. You are just splitting the viewers. You are splitting people's attention. Like, you can guarantee that if NXT Great American Bash was featured like end of July maybe, they would get more viewers than what they are going to get going up against AEW All In. You just would. Like, there would be people who are probably going to watch AEW All In who might also watch Great American Bash, but they're going to tune into All In, and vice versa. So you're not getting more viewers. If anything, this will probably be a lower viewed NXT show. And the example that I'm going to pull up for you is a movie example. How often do you see movies of the same genre release on the same day? For example, out right now is Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Coming out, I think, in 2 weeks, you've got the John Wick spin-off, Ballerina. Those two are targeting the same audience. They don't want to release on the same day because their box office, the money that they get, will be split in two, because people are probably going to have to choose between the two. They are the same genre. Now, different genres, for instance, Lilo and Stitch that's just come out. That is a family-oriented film for kids. That is not going to have the same demographic as a Mission Impossible or a Ballerina. They release on the same day. You're not losing that much box office there because they're not the same audience. WWE, NXT, and AEW, it's pretty much a same audience, a same demographic. You are looking at the same portion of people. It's not like kids watch NXT and adults watch AEW. No. Same demographic. Therefore, you are just splitting the eyes. You are just splitting the amount of people who are watching your show. That means you will get less viewership. In the same way that you would get less box office, you would get less viewership. So no one wins. No one wins there. If anything, both shows' viewership will probably be down. How does that help WWE? Sure, less people watch AEW, More people might tune into Great American Bash. I don't think it's going to be that many people, to be honest. I don't think it's going to be that many people who are swapping between the two or choosing. Instead, you're just going to end up with a more pissed off fan base because they're having to choose between two things that they want to see. Again, I'm going to go back to a movie analogy. People always think that DC and Marvel are in some kind of war with each other. When was the last time a DC film came out on the same day as a Marvel film? It doesn't happen. This year, you've got Superman coming out. Fantastic Four, I think, is 2 weeks after. They are hoping to ride the wave of momentum and the superhero sort of enjoyment, the enjoyment people have of that, riding that wave of momentum. Oh yeah, people are still interested in superhero films. We're going to check out Fantastic Four as well as Superman. That should be the ideology for pro wrestling. If all wrestling is good, or if I see a wrestling show that is great, I'm going to want to consume more wrestling. Therefore, I'm going to go check out the NXT show that is on 2 weeks later. That is sort of the methodology behind that. And here, again, you're just splitting the audience and people are not going to be as invested. They're going to have to choose. You're forcing consumers to choose, which is never a good thing, because if they choose one, they may not come back to the other one. The other reason that I do not think this is good, just in general, is because it's not good optics, again, for WWE. It is just not putting on these shows that I think they've had bad PR probably since WrestleMania. I don't think they've had things that have made me want to tune in to WWE programming, like the tag match between John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso and Logan Paul. Zero interest in that. You've got Triple H basically saying he hates his fans and he just wants drones to watch his program and not complain about everything. And then you've got this where they're just coming off as petty, coming off as gotten to, that all this sort of comes out and this announcement comes out after AEW had a great show. Like, we're not dumb. I feel like WWE think we're dumb and that we can't see these things and we can't see these patterns. And I think that is what is the most infuriating. If they hadn't have done this, no one would be talking about it. No one would be talking about this. If they just done NXT Great American Bash 2 weeks later, I wouldn't be doing this video. People wouldn't be complaining online about having to choose, about having to pick between which one to watch. There's only a finite amount of hours in a day, days in a year that we as consumers can spend on this hobby. There is so much wrestling right now. WWE is at like a peak. 3 shows on a single weekend that's so much wrestling to consume, especially if that's just the premium events. That's your Saturday night's main event, your Evolution and your NXT. That's not including Raw, that's not including SmackDown, that's not including NXT. That is so much wrestling to consume, so much to consume on a weekly basis, that they are just trying to drown the competition by just smothering their consumers in WWE. And I don't like how that sounds and how that phrase came out of my mouth. But that seems to be their tactic, is to just overwhelm and just have everyone talking about WWE every single day of the week. And it's built to this. It's built to a 3-show weekend where they're trying to just drown out AEW. And in that, people get oversaturated. Oh, I'm so tired of seeing wrestling. I'm seeing wrestling everywhere. I just need something else. And yeah, oversaturating the market eventually leads to a decline of people watching the product. And the final bit that I am worried about, this hasn't happened, but this is what I'm worried about, is that with Evolution being on the same weekend, if Evolution doesn't draw, because I believe it is the last show of the weekend, I believe it's on the Sunday potentially, or it's on the 13th, let me double check this. It is on, July the 13th. So I think I don't know what day that is. It'll be above my face because I'll look at what day it is. I think it's one of the last shows of the weekend. It takes place on the Sunday. There we go. No need to put it above my face. It takes place on the Sunday. I hope to God that this show gets a big number. I hope so much that so many people watch Evolution, because there is a chance with the amount of shows that are on NXT, AEW, Saturday Night's Main Event, that this gets lost in the shuffle, and for some reason the big bosses at TKO, Triple H look at this and say, we're not doing another one of them because it didn't draw, women don't draw, and we're not putting another one on. Like, if the ticket sales aren't great as well, considering there are 3 massive WWE shows that weekend and the prices are astronomical, if it doesn't draw in attendance, if it doesn't draw in viewership, I feel like that will come down to the women don't draw, and that is not what we want, because the women are putting on some of the best wrestling matches at the moment, like Stephanie Vaquer, like Becky Lynch, like Lyra, like the Triple Threat, Io, Bianca, Rhea. They are some of the highlights of WWE at the moment. And if this show does a bad number, or if this show doesn't get the metrics on Netflix, if it doesn't get the viewership that they are looking for, then I think they may just scrap it again, and we'll have to wait another 7 years for Evolution again, because they will see it as a failure, which I don't want it to. They've put a lot of pressure on Evolution to be good this year. There is a lot of pressure again. It's something they're bringing back, and I hope to God it does well, because it's probably, with All in Texas, it's probably my most anticipated show of the weekend. I think you'll get some absolute barn burners on there if you really want to go out of your way and do it, like Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky, like potentially Jordan Grace versus Becky Lynch or something like that. Jordan Grace versus Rhea Ripley, that could be an awesome one. There's a lot of cool stuff you could do for Evolution, and I hope to God people tune in and watch it and support women's wrestling, because it needs support at the moment, because I don't think, like, we've got potentially a stadium main event with Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné. I think that was the right call. But in terms of WWE and the representation of women, I don't think it's been good in the slightest. And I think, yeah, I hope this show does really, really damn good. Really damn good. And I hope the blame doesn't get put on it if it doesn't do well. So those are my overall thoughts. I hope you've stuck with me through this video. I hope it made sense. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this war is pointless? Do you think it's petty? Let me know, and I'll try and reply to every single one of the comments. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.